This podcast is produced by the students of the Self, Media, and Society class at John Jay College. It's March of 2015, and the class at this point is studying the ideology of mass media, in particular looking at the ideologies that come out of early family sitcoms and its effect on later family sitcoms.
Hello everybody, my name is Samantha, and I'm here to talk about Father Knows Best, and the ideologies that go that reflect the times of the 1950s and how they compare to now. And my name is Samantha, and I'm a forensic psychology major.
Hello everyone, my name is Zain, and my major is police studies.
Hi, my name is Dudlin. I'm a political science major.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and I'm a criminal justice major.
Okay, now today we are going to be talking about, first of all, the sociology ideologies of the 1950s, and the terms wholesome come into mind, and how they compare with what we define as wholesome in the sitcoms and family-oriented shows that are aired today. So one thing that I'd like to talk about is how the family itself is reflected. In Father Knows Best, I've noticed that the term wholesome describes a stereotype of white upper middle class to middle class itself, families that try to have this relationship where everyone is supporting one another. And as of the episode that I've watched, which was called Bud Takes Up the Dance, how even though that the Bud or his date Marsha doesn't know how to dance, there isn't really that much ridicule about them lacking that skill. Instead, it's encouraged for them. They are encouraged by Bud's father to dance, and he teaches them. The only, let's say, downfall, which isn't really a downfall, that could have been, being made fun of, would be the younger sister who makes fun of Bud's incapabilities to dance. But it was more of a satirical way to display her immaturity by her age. And comparing that with another sitcom that's, well known today, Family Guy, it seems to be that Meg is used as comic relief, but is done so in a way where it displays, it's a constant, I would say emotional abuse, in my words, because there's minimal encouragement, and she's the comic relief, but to the point where it's plain ridicule. And anybody else would like to take up?
So I was watching Father Knows Best as a part of the class assignment for our WordPress post, and as I was watching it, my father walks by, and he's utterly surprised as to what I'm watching. He stops and he goes, "What are you watching? Are you watching Father Knows Best?" And I was shocked that he even knew the show. And yesterday I had a conversation with him, and I asked him his opinion on the show, that family sitcom to the family sitcoms now that I watched growing up and that he watched with me. And he noticed that, he pointed out that the family sitcoms back before, I guess, about the 1990s, 1980s, were more about family values. And it was really structured around, the father being the head figure of the house and the mother helping out, and then the children usually being a boy and a girl, or 3 children. And it was always about how the family helps each other and how they interact with their family and their friends and what they go through on a daily basis. But, now it's different. Now it's more about about what the children want, and more centered around the children and their lives rather than the family itself and the values that they have and they're trying to instill in the children, which I thought was very interesting that he pointed this out. And I didn't really realize it until he actually was making some comparisons to me. And then I also compared Father Knows Best to Family Matters, which I watched growing up, and I actually really loved. They're both about middle-class families, but the difference is that In Father Knows Best, the mom is a homemaker. She stays at home, and her role basically is to help the father in every day. But in Family Matters, the mother is an equal figure. So it's the mom and the dad, and they both work, and they both take care of the kids. They're both very well involved, which I feel like is more realistic nowadays.
I also related Father Knows Best to a more recent show. I related it to The Cosby Show, where in The Cosby Show, the wife, she was a lawyer, and the father was a doctor. And I also thought that it was very ironic that the show was called Father Knows Best, but at the end of the day, the wife kind of did have a role in what was being said and what was being done to make the decision, the overall decision, just like in The Cosby Show, where they both made decisions together for the children and for the family as a whole. And I also noticed the innocence of the show. Like Bud, he was worried that he couldn't dance. So was the girlfriend Marsha. She was worried. They were crying because they couldn't dance. But now I feel like teenagers, they have other worries. Like there's things about teen pregnancy. There's other worries besides just not knowing how to dance and being shy.
On the show, I can see that in 1950s, the American families, they are more focused on the family value, because when Bud feel more stressful from his father, he will go into the basement. And I think if in a TV show from now, I think the children will just go outside. It's not stay in the basement. Actually, he still when he stay in the basement, he still stay with his family. So maybe his parents or his or other family members can help each other in the house. It's not they don't have to go outside to fight him or try to call somebody to fight him. So they still solving the problem together in the room. Is not going outside. So we can see that they are more focused on the family and mother knowing better in the family, because when something happen, because Bud getting into the basement, the father shows that he has no idea what to do to get him out, but the mother always give him some ideas to solve this problem for him.
I'd like to bring up another point that was brought up earlier about the representation of family and children itself evolving over time from the parents itself to the children. What I find interesting is how this is basically one huge social movement in terms of what is being represented on the show. And speaking of the audience that was watching the show, I like to correlate that with the TVs with them themselves, and how when they were first invented, like all inventions, they always cost a lot more money when they first come out. So, of course, compared to now, where TVs are pretty much in every room in the house, the producers of the show, of course, they probably had to keep in mind the demographic that'll be watching their shows. So, of course, they couldn't put a lot of innuendos in their shows in the beginning because there was a whole family watching that program. So, compared to now, where it's more of an individualized thing, which when watching TV, there are more innuendos being present.
I agree with that. In my post, I wrote about how there was only one phone in the living room. Like, there was only one line. So if everybody wanted to talk, they would have to be in front of everyone who was sitting in the living room. There was really no privacy. Like, when he wanted to talk on the phone to his friend, he had to go in the closet. I thought that was important compared to now. Like, everybody's on their phones. Everybody's all segregated, like, not together. Everybody's on their own, like he says, mini-me. But, like, when he was on the phone in the living room, everybody heard what he was saying, and they wanted to find out what he was talking about. Now everybody just focused on themselves.
All right, well, that was our program, and thank you for listening.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the first of what I consider to be many podcasts on this class, which is self-media in society. How we as individuals view media and how it affects how it affects the different aspects of society. Today we will be talking about family sitcoms and how they relay the different ideologies that are prevalent throughout the different times that they are set in. I'll be your moderator, and my name is Juan. I am majoring in forensic science.
I am Victor. I am a part of this team. My major as of right now is political science. I am in the process of changing it to economics. And that's about it.
My name is Joe Wong. Currently, my major is undeclared, and I'm proud to be part of this team.
My name is Christy Loveras, and my major is forensic psychology.
Okay, so you heard from each of the members of this group, and now let's move on to our topic. Father Knows Best, a sitcom set in 1950s set in 1950s of a father, mother, and two kids. It's 3 kids, and the wacky misadventures that they go through. We will be discussing the episode. What's the name of the episode? Bud Takes Up the Dance, and which focuses on Bud Takes the Dance, which focuses on the son Bud and his attempts to learn in secret how to dance, which is then revealed to the rest of the family. Now, what does this reveal about what is valuable and important in the 50s? Let's consider the role of the parents in terms and how they work in raising the kids. Anyone wants to start?
I mean, I'll say something. I want to apologize for not viewing the show, but I read all of your posts, so I have an idea, and I have come to a conclusion that the ideology in terms of authority is the father. He takes charge in most of the affairs, and the mother is just really just the support character. She's just there to, I guess, support his authority, and that's it. That's what I've come to the conclusion of from reading all of your posts.
I agree. I think that the father is the authority in that family, but at the same time, he's not as strict as I would have expected him to be. And the mother is basically just there to support, because in the moment when they didn't know what the son was doing, the mom didn't even go upstairs to find out. The father was the one that had to take the initiative to go and try to find out what was going on.
The ideology set by the show, Father Knows Best, takes place in 1950, and that's post-war America, so everything's like happy-go-lucky, the family goes through little mishaps. But one of the things that I would like to draw focus on is, in the show, is this sense of wholesome. It's a wholesome show. Everything is about, how you interact with others and how you have a wholesome relationships, especially between men and women. I would like to point out the fact that when the father was speaking to the elder sister character, they were talking about how this girl that Bud was taking to the dance was dynamite. And at the time, we did not understand the premise of the word, right? So they referred to her as dynamite. They referred to her as someone that may be going around, or a loose woman, in this case. Someone who had, Bud was to be another notch in her belt, per se, as in she's just another relationship that he's going to have with her. And the way the father reacted to this was saying, I don't think that this is right. This is not correct. It's not a wholesome relationship that should be had. And in doing so, he went to go visit the grandmother character, the grandmother of the girl, and he expressed his dislike or disapproval of this dating scenario, where he told the woman, listen, I don't think your granddaughter's right for my son. But there was a confrontation in the basement that took place when he actually found out who she was, what she was doing, where the nickname came from, and he found her to be, again, a wholesome young girl. But I would also like to draw attention to the fact that the disgust that came over the father's face when the girl was referred to as dynamite. But on the same token, When the girl referred to the son, Bud, as being dynamite, as being someone that every girl in the school wanted to be with, he lit up. And that in and of itself represents a double standard that's still present today. If a man goes out and has many relationships with many women, like you get a positive. He's a player. If a woman does the same thing, you still get that label, oh, loose, whore, slut, whatever you want, promiscuous. You still get that. And that ideology has always been present, apparently. It's not just in this day and age. It's 50s, the 20s. I mean, it's been around for how long? How long has media, in and of itself, given us the fact that, hey, guess what? Women are supposed to be white-veiled, pure, forever, and men can do whatever they want.
The earliest instance I can think of that is, I think in the Victorian era of England, the whole idea of domesticity, if I got the word correctly, where the idea was that the woman was supposed to be pure, they were supposed to be the supporter, and they were supposed to help out with the kids rather than be their own independent worker. But then maybe it's gotten so prevalent now because of the movement in women's power, where there are a lot of women trying to fight more for equality, like towards the 20s, I think, with the flappers and stuff. And media is trying to bring us back to that, trying to force women back into this idea of the pure, of the supportive type.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that media has imposed that ideology on us so much that there's a lot of women out there that just believe it. And there's a lot of people, a lot of my friends that are females, and a lot of females in my family that actually think like this. Like, it's set into their mind. And when I actually try to step out of that ideology, they look at me like if I'm crazy or I'm not supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it is true that it's always been looked at as females are supposed to be a certain way and men are supposed to be the ones that are, stronger.
That makes me so upset hearing that. This expectation we have for women. We don't need to have this expectation. It just frustrates me that there has to be a certain guideline for women to follow when they should just choose the way they want to live. They have their own options, just like we have our own options. You shouldn't have a reference that people should follow. They should make their own references. That's just the way I see it.
Unfortunately for today's society, one of the big things that media likes to do is misconstrued like feminist movements and other things. And another point would be women and feminist groups in general argue how there's not enough like women CEOs and there's not enough women in high places of power, but you don't see them arguing smaller jobs. There's not enough female sanitation workers, sewage cleaning. There's no room for women there apparently, and those are not the jobs that they want. So when you push for equality, make it all equal. Open up these jobs. But you have to pursue them. You have to, this is what you want to do. I want to be a garbage man. I want to be a garbage woman. But you don't hear that. It's always centered around in power.
But you don't hear men saying, I want to be a garbage man either. Everybody wants to be something higher.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a garbage man.
Okay, you're that one exception.
You'd be surprised. They get paid They get paid a decent amount of money.
Next question.
All right, so this has been our group on Father Knows Best and how it reflects the ideology of the times and how sitcoms in general reflect our ideologies.